Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 394. This is your guide to the geek side. And as always, you can subscribe to our podcast with our network feed with all of the podcasts, the Holocron Chronicles for Star Wars, the co-op mode for video games, Code 47 for all things Star Trek, and Secret Friends Unite Prime, which you're listening to now. But when you're, not listening to podcasts and you want to see them on the screen, go to our YouTube page, see our faces in more places, and see what's going on behind our backs, and you'll be entertained for sure. So with that, I am Todd Oxtra from beautiful Savage, Minnesota, joined by Charlie Carden.
Catch the fever! Charlie Carden, East Grand Rapids, Michigan. EGR, son, what? I was just remembered of Ashy Larry from Chappelle's when you're introducing yourself. Marcy Projects, son, what? There we go.
Yes. So we are, kind of getting into the fall season. I believe that officially starts on the 20th of September. So it's that pivot.
22nd pivot. Whatever.
We're always we're getting ready for new seasons, new weather, new fun experiences, and all the pumpkin drinks you can have.
Drink it.
But with that, we don't want to delay in getting into this wonderful cover. It's Avengers number 394 from January 96. This is the bad old days of Marvel.
Oh my God.
Man, oh man.
This cover needs to be avenged. What a horrible... It's not even that it's a bad lineup. It just looks...
I don't know about Charlie. There's no leather jackets at this point, so I think they had to shed those off. Their contract with the Wilson Leather Shops expired.
I think I still have a Wilson leather wallet in the bottom of a drawer somewhere. I'm like,
everybody did. Everybody, that was the place where you got your leather jackets. So
yeah, exactly.
Rest in peace. All leather.
Yeah. Now you get them from, F. Jackets, and they come from Indonesia. It's the greatest. Well, I mean, I'm trying to figure out this lineup. So we've got Vision, and they flipped his colors. So he looks a bit weird. I think that's maybe Black Widow, probably still Crystal. And I'm not sure about the giant, because Hawkeye, Clint Barton.
Is that Atlas?
No. Hawkeye, Clint Barton had a stint, and it was even in the early 70s during the Kree Skrull War, like the original run, where he became Giant Man for a while. And I think this was during the time that he took it back again. And then he's Hawkeye again. So it just kind of goes back and forth. But regardless, and again, this is the run that you and Katie just wouldn't let me read anymore. So I couldn't tell you. I mean, but this is back when you and I were still reading books because we were in college. It was January of 96. So this one, was still getting delivered in the, brown paper sleeve to my mailbox here at, here in East Grand Rapids, here in the house I grew up in. But yeah, it's a new Wasp, but she's gooey and she's huge. So, and she's looks like an alien. So
she almost looks like she's Shi'ar. The way her appearance looks. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm genuinely curious. This is only about 8 issues before volume 1 of the Avengers ended with issue 402. And then it became the Heroes Reborn. And then they came back and it was the Wade Busiek run, and then so on and so forth. So, but yeah, so this is almost at the end of the original run. And you're right. They were running into the House of Ideas has run out of ideas because we got this. And it's, what is it?
It was a mercy killing.
It was at the Crossing, which it's funny because the Crossing is this like the Return of the Crossing? Because that was a story arc about 30 issues earlier, dude. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Oh, it's crazy, man. AZ.
No, and yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, this was the bad old days of Marvel. They had very few acclaimed titles. They were just almost every book was at its creative nadir. So
Nader, yes, exactly.
Like Ralph, yes.
Creative Ralph Nader. You got it. There's a name for the episode. Creative Ralph Nader. Oh my God. Well, that's tough. Well, who never runs out of juice and is probably sticky? I don't know. Again, I'll say you. I am talking about our 122-year-old senior news correspondent. That's right, Madam Webb, down at the corner of Hollywood and Vine, as always, with the hottest scoops and a shot of poop. Let's get down there and get that info.
Now it's time for Madam Webb's rumors and news. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Webb. Well, Charlie gave it away. 122 years. Happy birthday. It's right around the time, that we started our podcast. So I guess, we have a birthday, you have a birthday, except we're not
That's
in the
right.
centuries.
We're not really celebrating. We're kind of holding out to episode 400, which is just 5 weeks away. So we'll get through Shocktober, and then we're going to have a big blowout. Maybe we'll have some special guests. Maybe we'll get Mark in the mix, Katie or Peter. Maybe we can get the whole family down to celebrate number 400. We'll see what happens.
Exciting times. Well, almost as exciting as you talked about, Charlie. We have, we're calling it Spooktember. So September spookiness is happening.
Sure.
There are a lot of trailers and things coming up because people are getting ready for October, and it's coming fast and furious. And we are getting a new movie in the Bring It On franchise, and they're zigging where they zag, and they're making it a horror film called.
I tell you, it's what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do to keep it fresh, and this is as fresh as a rotting carcass. No, it looks fun, and it was a 30-second trailer we watched, and I'm sure you'll have it in the show notes. But it's a giggle. Again, but the thing I get held up on, Todd, is that did we get a date? It's obviously going to be on in October, but
it's October 8th.
Sci-Fi Channel, so it's like
to Peacock. It's everything goes to Peacock, Charlie.
Yes, Peacock.
Yes, the cock.
I'm not allowed to say the cork.
Check out the cock.
Go to the cork. Go to the cork. It's easy.
Exactly.
Yes,
put a cork in it.
Put a cork in it. Okay. Well, that resolves things because when the hackles on the back of my neck go up and be like, and it's on the blah, blah, blah app. I'm like, no, we all have 5 core apps that we're comfortable with. I now have actually found that Paramount Plus added a button for Showtime because that's part of my subscription. So now I don't even need the Showtime app anymore. So that's not a bad thing either. And
Charlie, a pro tip. Apparently, in the next Roku update, they are going to have just basically like a wish list or kind of like tracking shows you want to watch within Roku
God.
if they're on any service. Which I'm like, that is a brilliant thing. I like this Roku search.
Yeah, if I go, or are you referring to it'll have most recently watched? So if I was watching an episode of Star Trek on Paramount Plus,
no. This is like a wish list of things you want to watch to remind you, and it will take you right. You just click on the thing, and it takes you to the app they're associated with.
I think they've had that for a long time, but maybe it's an enhancement or something.
Well, that's if you search. But this is like saving shows you want to watch, which I think is genius because if you find things they're going to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, well, this looks like fun. We'll circle back about this. This is a feature length, I assume, made for TV movie.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a 90-minute, 2-hour movie. It's essentially Bring It On, if you're not familiar. The cheerleaders, I really like the first movie. Very funny. But now, basically, these cheerleaders are getting stalked by the high school mascot. So this should be a lot of fun, a lot of jokes. What they showed in the 30-second trailer is all you need to know. It's cheerleaders essentially trying to solve a murder mystery, a serial killer. What could be better? October 8th, Sci-Fi, then going to Peacock probably the next day.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes, I will tune in, and as always, I'll have Todd to remind me because I'm sure it'll be a Spooktember-tober film that we're going to watch. So, moving on, we do have more information about the Thunderbolts. We talked about this last time, didn't we? I'm sure.
No, we skipped a lot, Charlie. We skipped because basically we just did trailers and we didn't go through a lot of the the other things that weren't shown because these weren't shown. These are just stories that came out after the fact. So we kind of talked about what was shown versus the story. So I picked 3 stories that came out shortly after with more information. So the first story is Thunderbolts. We know this movie is coming out, and they officially unveiled the lineup. And I guess the biggest part of it, and we'll give the lineup really quick. I mean, we're getting, let me go through this really quick. We've got Yelena, Bucky, Red Guardian. We've got Ghost, Taskmaster, and U.S. Agent, essentially making the lineup with, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Elaine is now going to be their Nick Fury.
I love it. That's all that anybody refers to her character as, Elaine.
Bad Elaine. Yeah.
Will she dance? Well, it's so funny because she's so much less Elaine and so much more Selena from Veep.
Exactly. So
with
it's
that
like
vibe, yeah.
after she was Elaine, she moved on from New York, became the VP. Next
Right.
run was to basically go deeper into the government and basically lead a elite super team. It makes sense.
Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it just seems like they're putting this together, and this is going to be a film in phase 6. I don't, because,
I believe it's the
and
first thing
it's
post. Yeah,
it's either
it's the
ending
first.
5 or starting 6. I feel like I heard this on another podcast yesterday, maybe. But regardless, this article goes on to mention that, well, don't worry, you haven't seen the final lineup, because one of the most pivotal parts of the Thunderbolts lineup when it launched 25 years ago was the involvement of Baron Zemo as Citizen
And I'm going
D.
to pause right here, Charlie, because you're the only person that calls him Zemo. There's not it's not a zebra. It's not a zebra. It's a zebra.
It is in Australia. He calls himself Zemo or Zemo
Yes.
or some shit. I don't know. Why not? You know
What does everybody call him? Zemo.
Point of order. You literally have called Thanos on this very program. So don't get all so high and mighty on me, sir.
Maybe by mistake, but he is Thanos.
Really? Mistake? Thanos?
Charlie.
You know what? He'll snap you out of existence.
I admit it. If I said it once, that's fine. But you continue to call him Zemo everywhere, like Zemo.
Is that that's like the Aussies have to say A to Z? There you go.
Or they say A
to Zemo.
Or they say assume instead of assume, and it drives me nuts. I'm like, where did they put the H? Why is there an H?
Oh, well. Anyway.
Yeah, so you did talk about, Zemo not being in this, and this does feel so heavy into Black Widow and Falcon Winter Soldier. It seems like the only one character that's not really associated with that is Ghost. Ghost came from Ant-Man and Wasp 2. Yeah.
Right.
So it just seems like there should be a more diverse lineup, in my opinion. Maybe that's what will happen because this crew, I think they're interesting, but they blow my socks off.
Yeah, they seem bad, but not too bad. Plus, you got Bucky in there, who is he fought in the battle to save Earth, and so And
you've got essentially 3 super soldiers or knockoffs of right, and then you've got a spy. You've got I don't even know what Ghost's powers are, to be honest.
It's the suit, and she phases and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what they can do to add maybe some more diversity to that squad. But I mean,
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes, and what ultimately is going to be their challenge, because I don't foresee this group just taking on the Avengers or another group like that. Maybe they will. I don't know. And everybody kind of knows who these characters largely are too. It's not like a mystery. It's like, oh, you're masquerading as so and so. So it's weird. The appeal is different to use the Thunderbolts in this context.
Right. Yeah. So it's gonna be weird to see how they transition the overall concept of it, which I remember obviously when we read it was the shocker of a lifetime. Like, oh my God, these guys aren't heroes. But it's not gonna be quite. So I mean, the other way to kind of cast it is it's more of a Suicide Squad kind of vibe. So I don't know. It will be cool to see. And one guy who is having a career resurgence to move on is, how do you say his name? Please help me out.
Ke Huy Quan.
Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
And Data from the Goonies.
Right. And so he did those 2 movies in 1984. Then we didn't see him for 40 years, and then he was back in Everything All the Time, the multiversal movie with Captain Georgiou. And so that is and obviously he's been doing something for 40 years. Maybe he's still been acting somewhere else. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you anything that he's been in. But now, cast in season 2 of Loki, which... the MC. It's fun. I'm rewatching the MCU series right now. I just actually watched Loki. Finished watching it just the other day. The MCU series are weird because for me, they all felt great as one-offs, and now we're getting second seasons of certain ones of them. Falcon and Winter Soldier ended into going into a movie. WandaVision, and that character ended up going into Doctor Strange too. But now with Loki, they need to carry on and do a new one. Moon Knight is apparently getting a second season. Ms. Marvel is getting a second season. I'm not crazy about it, but obviously I'm going to be watching it. But what do you think? So what does it go on to say about what exactly he's going to do?
It's a good question. As of right now, very little is known about Loki. We do know, obviously, the biggest part of Loki that came out of is Kang. He's going to be a big part of Ant-Man and Quantumania, which is the next
Right.
story. But other than that, they have been absolutely shush about this. And we just don't know, kind of where that series is headed because essentially Loki's kind of cut off now from everything that happens.
Right.
His life was snuffed out, and for him to come back in to the mainstream, they obviously don't have anomalies anymore because he is an anomaly, and the TVA is gone. Essentially, this is going to be kind of quirky and crazy and weird. So, but apparently, based on the trailer that they showed at the show, he's said to be some sort of TVA librarian. So,
gotcha. Well, yes, the Wicked Librarian. I love it.
Yeah, so I looked up his IMDb, Charlie. He essentially, I didn't know he was in Encino Man. He was, but he essentially has 9 movie credits to his career, and basically,
so he was just out living a normal life. Yeah.
Only 2 in the last 20 years, which are basically So it's like I think he struggled with basically being a stereotyped kid and then having no real roles available for him unless he wanted to still be a stereotyped character, which a lot of people in the Asian community will say.
I mean, who is the older Asian actor, and he's from Minneapolis? James Hong, who has been like, he's the guy, he's the, for a long time, he was the Asian guy. He was in absolutely everything. And thankfully, that kind of thing is, with the world that we live in, things changing and POCs being heard, their voices being heard. It's glad to see that that's changing.
Yeah, but it's about time, and seeing other people that don't look like us, but they look like other people who have lacked that. It's pretty awesome. Kind of like Michelle Yeoh. I mean, she's having a kick-ass career now, but some people would say, God, it's 20 years since she did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and that was an Oscar winner, and that should have catapulted her into a larger frame of success, similar to some of her male counterparts. But good for them, and I can't wait to see them come back. And obviously, we saw the picture of he and Indy together, very heart touching, and it'd be great if he was in that movie again, but probably not.
Never know.
Maybe for the better. Maybe for the better.
Who's to say? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, having all kinds of different mixed emotions about the whole Indiana Jones thing. Again, we will see, not to dig too deep.
It's the last one, Charlie, with him in it. See. So at this point, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's done after this.
Nothing really matters. Oh.
Yeah. So last story of the D23 rep that we missed up is the fact that we are essentially getting a look at not only I didn't really realize this. I thought it was just going to be a Kang-focused villain in Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. Essentially, we're getting a deadly duo with MODOK going to be in this film. We last saw MODOK as Patton Oswalt in that that the robot chicken version, and we loved that. So it would be weird to then now see MODOK being a serious, evil, deadly killing organism.
I guess, and MODOK was never a cheeky character until he was, like all characters, till he was written that way, and that was only in the last 10 or 15 years that they took that take. But yeah, you get a look as you're scrolling through this. You get a look at the character. He kind of has a yellow jacket, kind of yellow vibe. He looks like a bee in this. He looks like a bee with arms and legs. Just he doesn't really take on the kind of stereotypical MODOK vibe I'm seeing here. And he looks so sad in the regular art. But yeah, no, they have a t-shirt image. This was from Chuck the Conqueror on Twitter, portraying what MODOK might look like. He looks like he's, I just really can't even make it up. But it looks like it almost looks like
just a big it's a big helmet.
It's a helmet.
Yeah, and then his little body's there. So it's in turn it's MODOK. He just looks a little different. Right. And MODOK is just one of those weird characters that somebody thought was a cool idea to create back in the I assume late 60s, early 70s. And he's just so goofy looking and impractical. And you'd be sad too if you were like 90% head like a toddler and 10% body.
I have a great MODOK figure, and it was one of those weird ones where it came in his little rocket blast or whatever it is, but it's comic version. My figures are comic version, so I forgot that I had that. I think it's somewhere in the back, one of the shelves. I forgot about it, but I've always enjoyed the character. He's kind of wonky. He's like any character's been died and come back and this and that. So one of the times he died, he came back laughing. He's a comic character. He's comedic character. So
yeah, the quantum realm. Apparently, we heard a little bit too that Kang captures Scott Lang's daughter and holding it and basically holding Scott to basically pull off a heist to get something. So I assume the thing he needs the heist from is probably MODOK then. That's how it gets brought in. So this could be a fun heist film, but apparently in the trailer they also said there's very serious tones in this movie compared to previous movies. So this one could be really good. I've always liked those movies. They're typically lighter fare than the others, but
Right.
I love Paul Rudd and the cast looks cool. And yeah, I think this could be a lot of fun.
God, it's cooking. Good stuff. All right, what's up next?
Yeah, so DC tends to always reinvent itself over the years, sometimes to good effect and bad effect. One good example would be 0 Hour, which was essentially I think it was the first post-crisis storyline, really well done, and they brought back a lot of the characters, or they killed off a lot of heritage characters and then brought in a new era of heroes. One was Starman, one of my favorite heroes and characters in DC's lore. Absolutely loved it. But most time, it seems like it doesn't stick and just gets wonky. But apparently, out of the Dark Crisis, we will get a new era called the Dawn of the DCU. And we've got a cool image of Nightwing glowy, looking pretty cool. Glowy. Yeah, and it says it's always darkest before the dawn, and now we're there, a new dawn of the DC universe. Started out a event of death, and so we will end with life. So this could be very cool. And we always typically get new books out of these things, and there's actually thoughts about where this will take us. They canceled an event because there was a lot of problems with, like, Dan Didio got fired. They had some things planned called 5G, which was the dumbest name in the world because it sounds like a cell phone connection. But it was supposed to be the fifth generation. Yeah, it was supposed to be the fifth generation where younger heroes were going to replace the old heroes in the past. So there's talking about some of those things may come back. But, I guess we'll see if this leads to anywhere or if it's just more, getting back to status quo, which I will get it. I'll be honest. DC is doing a lot. They're bringing some things back, which I appreciate. And I hate when things get left out that are really good and you feel like they don't matter anymore. It's kind of like Marvel. You don't want things that you loved to no longer matter. You just want them to be remembered and not destroyed. So, right. Exactly. I don't know, Charlie. I mean, Marvel does this every once in a while with, like, maybe, what is it?
They did Secret Wars 2015 was a big reset. It brought back the Fantastic Four. It collapsed down the Ultimate Universe to just Miles Morales as a character, and then Spider-Gwen survived. So it was like all these Earths were being crunched into one, and it really tied it back to the original Secret Wars from 1984. So 20 something years prior. So yeah, the one thing that kept me and my ADD brain bouncing around. The one thing is I scrolled down to their tribute cover, Dark Crisis #7 of George Press. Oh, it's beautiful. This makes me want to actually attempt to read Crisis, which I've never made it through that in 20
Charlie,
years.
don't. Just read a recap. It's dense. It's not like just like Secret Wars where it's just fisticuffs. Yeah. This is like blah 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 blah. 85 word balloons per page, guaranteed.
Here's 9 Supermen, and 3 of them are going to live, but which 3? The other 6, blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly.
At the time, that was more of what we got with comics. It doesn't hold up. It just doesn't work these days. It doesn't, unless you're punching Hitler. And back in the day, that's readable.
Oh, punching Hitler back in the day. Well, this is interesting. So, as I am not the DC faithful and you are, I will, if you read this and you like it, perhaps I will gravitate in this direction. So, Constantine back again. Is this going to be Matt Ryan versus Keanu Reeves? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's a shame because Constantine is a character now he has a long history of actually TV and movie appearances, really unknown to a lot of people until we got the Constantine movie, where, John Constantine is essentially a magician, private eye. That's the best way to describe him. Deals with some black art sometimes, and he's part of the mystical part of the DC universe. He was, I believe, introduced through Swamp Thing with Alan Moore back in the 70s and has stuck around, and then he became part of more of the Vertigo line. Very cool. But then there was a movie in the what year was it?
2005,
2005.
2005. Yeah.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves, who is not British and didn't even attempt a British accent, which is a big part of
I
John
didn't
Constantine.
even see him wearing the trench coat. He just was
Nope,
dressed in
wasn't
black.
blonde.
So, yeah,
Wasn't
so it's
blonde
like
either.
that would be like, I'm Jim Kirk. I'm wearing blue and my hair is purple. Basically, it'd be like
And I
if you
love
had,
the Beastie Boys.
and I love the Beastie Boys. It's exactly, and
Can't stand it. You know, I
it's
planned it. Oh, sorry.
it's funny you mention it because then it goes on to talk about J.J. Abrams' involvement in this project.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Well, and it's so essentially we got that. I actually enjoyed the movie quite a bit, regardless for what it was and not what it was meant to be. So I thought it was
Right.
very well done. Rachel Weisz was in it. Some other characters in it. I liked it a lot. Didn't lead anything. It was just kind of like what DC was doing at the time. They were just putting their projects everywhere and see what would work, and weren't trying to make a universe. Well, we've had since then. Constantine had his own TV series on NBC. Didn't do well. Then they brought him in back in the Legends of Tomorrow. He became a character on that. There's an animated series with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan kills the part. He's awesome. You know, everybody's like, is he going to be in this stuff? Apparently not. So now we've got Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves. The Keanu Renaissance continues. Yes, and a lot of people are excited about this. And quite honestly, I'm fine with it. I think this could be really fun. And the fun part about this is it essentially puts the flim flam on J.J. Abrams, because J.J. Abrams was planning like a dark universe of DC characters, and essentially JJ's not been successful in getting any of the projects in this big deal he signed with Warner Brothers back in the day. It was $500 million. He's going to develop all these projects and nothing has come to fruition yet. It was like, oops, maybe now you know why Warner Brothers was in a world of hurt, because they were spending a lot of money on things and they just didn't happen. So essentially that puts the kibosh on a lot of JJ's projects, including a Madame Xanadu series, which was more of like a Vertigo project, which was more a little bit darker and vibey, which my wife read the comic. I really liked it, but it's essentially all these bad robot projects are on hold, including the Batman Cape Crusader. That was that cartoon by Bruce Timm that was like the sequel to the Batman animated series that's now getting shopped around, might be on something else. But, you know, it's kind of a shame that we won't get all of those things. But if we get this Constantine movie, I think that'll bring a lot of the fans back and make them pretty happy.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Well, something where I'm trying to read through this. I'm scratching my head. Original Karate Kid movie franchise is coming back. We loved Cobra Kai. We blasted through Cobra Kai. Todd, did you finish it?
I'm on episode 7. I was watching some. My family was watching some too, on and off, and I like trying to savor it a little bit. But I mean, I'm almost done. I'm gonna probably finish it in the next couple of days.
Netflix stuff is bad at being savored, especially something so short. But regardless, Karate Kid, yes, returning. There's some news that broke last week. Returning June 7 of 2024. Followed by in this art was followed by the phrase "the return of the original Karate Kid franchise," and that will be near to the 40th anniversary of the release of the original film. This goes on to say that there is a quote from the guy who launched, John Hurwitz, who launched Cobra Kai, which is massively successful, and it's loved and revered by just about everybody I know that has watched it. And he says, "We have no connection, but I wish them well." So that leaves me to wonder, since Cobra Kai is essentially the evolution of all of the, the heritage characters from Karate Kid, what the hell is this movie going to be if it's a continuation of the franchise? I can't even speculate. I don't even know what it would be.
Well, we've essentially 5 Karate Kid films. So we've got the first 3 with Ralph Macchio, Mr. Miyagi. Then we got the new, was it the next Karate Kid or the new Karate Kid
with Hilary Swank, and then a reboot,
and Mr. Miyagi again.
Yep. Yeah, a reboot with Jaden Smith and was it
Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan, and that obviously went nowhere. That's not what this is going to be. So what is this? See, that's even what the article says more than once. Is like, what is this? What is this possibly going to be? So, and this is Sony. I mean, because they make references.
And Sony produces the Cobra Kai show too. So it's essentially under Sony Columbia. Yeah.
Which, even this paragraph goes on to say that, Sony's entire film schedule in the next 2 years is a whirlwind. You've got Kraven the Hunter, which is Spider-Man project bouncing around. Our own beloved Madam Web, her project bouncing around. I just get the feeling that this is going to be something that moves along and kind of dies out. I feel like this is going to fall off the radar because it just doesn't make any sense. What are they going to do?
Well, and Cobra Kai is kind of like, I'm amazed it actually succeeded and did it well. It's not one of those things that was like turnkey, was going to succeed. It was a YouTube premium show, which tells you right there that Netflix picked it up.
Right. It was kind of rescued from the jaws of obscurity because what name me two other programs that were on YouTube Premium. You can't because nobody watched them and they're dead.
I don't know of any others. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was that mad rush. Everybody wanted every
right.
Platform holder wanted content.
One abbreviated word for you, Quibi, came up on a podcast.
Quibi, and all to the benefit of Roku now because they've got all the content and it's free to watch, so you don't have to have a separate service for it. But one note of content, Charlie. Along with this, I did not know what they were doing, but apparently Sony is bringing back the Garfield franchise. And the funny part is, guess who's attached to that movie?
Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic.
One of the Chris's. Guess which Chris it is?
Chris Hemsworth?
No.
Chris Evans?
No.
It's got Chris Pratt. He's third.
Yes, it's the Chris nobody really wants anymore. And guess who else is in it?
Crisp Rat.
Exactly, who's also the voice of Mario, which is great. But guess who's attached to this along with Chris Pratt, Charlie?
I would have no conceptualization. Hit me with it.
Sam Jackson. And when I heard that, I wanted it to be.
They're both Marvel.
I wanted it to be Garfield, Sam Jackson playing Garfield, and all he does is spout, F-bombs at John, who is played by Chris Pratt.
Oh my God. You know what, Todd? You know what? Cut the check. Stop drilling.
Can I make that happen?
Oil. Why we got to spread the word. Add us on Twitter, Sony. We want to have it.
I am a producer extraordinaire, and whoever is missing out on my genius, you're all fools.
Yes, the money is coming. Our Patreon will come soon enough. There'll be a Sony level, which is just going to be for Sony. They get all our ideas.
It'll be the SFUco.
Yeah, come at us, Spumco. So, oh my goodness. All right, well, that's the end of the news. That was nuts. What a ride we had. But speaking of rides, Todd, it's time to take one by getting on our app. We got to get that gypsy cab down to Scugtown, Nastyville. We're going to the Geek Easy, talking about what we're digging. Let's go.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy, drinks are poured, and we are ready to get our nerd on. And wow, there's almost too much to watch right now. And so there's only going to be like one TV show we talk about, but the rest is all going to be like actual words on pages. Yeah, words on pages.
One of which I read because I went out and bought a print edition of Amazing Fantasy 1000, which was a one-shot, prestige format, like 40 or 60 pages, I can't remember. But because I couldn't get the digital code to work, Marvel does this thing now where you have to send them a picture of the cover of the book and then get a code back. That is Marvel's
What is this? Are you going to send it in a self-addressed stamped envelope?
No, you send it digitally.
I know.
So it's not a tear-off code anymore. But yeah, obviously this is their notion to combat piracy, although I don't really see how it could, because I could just be in the comic shop
one code per book.
Yeah, one code per book. So, but I could just be in the comic shop and go click. Oh, look, there's AVX number 7. Okay, send it to me. Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
That's so weird
because I was and I was reading it the night before I went somewhere and I didn't have a chance to do it. I was reading it. I was reading the physical copy, and unfortunately, I'd already taken my contacts out, and I need a new pair of glasses, so I had to read it like this. But it's fun. It's like I said, it's quasi prestige format, which means it has a spine. Very exciting. No printing on the spine though. They didn't go that far. Like they used to do annuals back in the old days, like like when they did like Atlantis Attacks, all of those, or the Evolutionary, where all those books had spines.
Tiny spine.
Tiny for like a 64-page deal. So this was kind of the same thing. But these were fun. These were all vignettes. They were kind of weaving in between, alternate storyline. Neil Gaiman wrote one and told it from his perspective.
Very nice.
Yes, it was very, Todd, I would encourage you, more than welcome to read it, wink, wink. Or you can wait for it on Marvel Unlimited because it'll be along within a few months. But the most standout story, and again, this was one that made me buy it, was it touched upon a miniseries I loved a few years ago called, Spider-Man, Lifelines or Life Science. Now I can't remember, where it told Spider-Man kind of generationally, like, okay, he aged from the 60s to now. And so it did Spider-Man on his 60th birthday. Mary Jane's waiting for him, but his reflexes got slowed. He got shot a bunch of times and ended up, in critical care in the hospital. And it obviously wasn't looking good for him. Mary Jane, was waiting and turned around and he was gone. And he had his mask back on out the window with the hospital gown with his ass hanging out, breaking up a robbery. So it was very endearing. And
his webs only shoot like halfway now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He needs a little bit of the William J, the special pill, William J Viagra. That's what I dubbed it. Not that I use it or that I don't. I'm not telling you. But regardless, it was a fun tale, and I enjoyed it. I ended up, there were a lot of varying covers. Todd, I messaged you from the comic shop. I'm like, which one do you like? And I sent it to you, and I sent it to April, and I sent it to Katie, our friend Katie, our shared co-host. She's also my cosplay photographer. And she said, don't get the one with spiders on it. I hate spiders. And I got the one with spiders on it because I thought it looked the most cool.
Well, it's a cool cover because it's like a duality, and it's not just the standard him in a suit. Yeah,
exactly. So that one's a lot of fun. So actual Spider-Man issues now the Amazing Spider now is over the magnitude of 900 issues, but this was obviously done with the thought that, what if Amazing Fantasy continued to publish it, would have hit this by now, but it's a lot of fun.
Amazing Fantasy, Charlie, if you kept that title, then it's definitely an adult comic.
Yes, exactly. How amazing is the fantasy? I went back and I'm in my Comixology, and again, that entire app change was like a year ago, and they blowed this thing and that thing, and I'm like, and it was kind of at a time that I was tilting away from comics. But what I had done is I had subscribed to the Tipton brothers over at IDW, have done this Star Trek, not the first time I've done that recently, Star Trek comic series about the Mirror Universe, but what does the Terran Empire or the Starfleet, the Mirror Starfleet look like? Because it was never truthfully explored in the segments of DS9 and even on into Discovery. It was just simply said that, the Terrans were subjugated and blah, blah, blah. It turns out that was propaganda. Terran Empire still exists. It's very small. But Jean-Luc Picard is one of the people trying to win back and defeat the Klingon-Cardassian Alliance, which is the predominant, source of power in this. I switched my art, by the way. I missed this, so I moved it back from over there. But yes, in all this, they were trying to move it back. So it was fun. You get a lot of crossover characters. Kind of being bad. Barkley is one of the main characters, Dwight Schultz's character.
Whoa!
Yes, I know.
Yes!
I know. He's a kind of a real life nutcase, isn't he? Isn't he kind of like Randy Quaid in this day and age? Like,
I couldn't tell you. I'm hoping he's a good guy.
Yeah, I hope so too. I do hear that Roxanne Dawson, who played B'Elanna Torres on Voyager, is like a serious MAGA hat. Somebody rumored that to me recently, but I haven't looked into it.
Seriously? Come on, kids.
I'm
Play
scared.
nice.
I'm scared to find out. But regardless, so that's fun. I'm on issue 7 of 8. And there were also little fun spin-offs. So there's a book about Geordi and a book about Data. Data is great in this. He's Data, but he's half Borg. So it's like, it's kind of crazy.
Does he have a goatee, or is that not allowed? I can't remember.
No,
he can just grow facial hair if he wants. I can't remember.
He did it in an episode of the show. He grew a beard and then talked about it. And he called Geordi, and Troy came to his quarters and he's like, look how I stroke my beard thusly. And they just started laughing at him.
I must have forgot it.
It has been done.
How could I forget, Charlie?
I don't know. That's a fun series, so I'm looking forward to wrapping that up. But yeah, I'm trying to be good about it. I'm trying to set it an hour a night. And tonight won't be the case because, when we're done here, House of Dragons is on. So it'll be tomorrow night. But an hour a night to read comics and really kind of throw myself back in. I'm trying to catch up on Amazing Spider-Man because I really don't want to give up my streak. The Spider-Man Beyond thing is getting a little better as time goes on. The Ben Reilly is back, but he now works for a corporation. He's the branded corporate Spider-Man where Peter Parker is not. And so I unfortunately read ahead a little bit of a summary, and much like I expected, it doesn't last forever, and eventually Peter comes back. So big shocker. But I was talking with a friend of mine, our friend Kelly. I get to meet our friend Kelly, who was on a couple episodes ago at a cosplay photo shoot yesterday, and I was saying, comic books they're very soap opera-y, they're very cyclical. Every 30 years, whatever that is going to come back. So we're getting the same thing with Ben Reilly taking over as Spider-Man, but it won't last. But anyway, that's what I got going on this week. And the one thing that you're going to talk about, I'm loving on.
Yeah, so She-Hulk. We are 4 episodes down. We didn't talk about last episode, but
five
episodes. Wow, I feel crazy.
Of not 9, 8 or 9.
Okay.
I said no. I looked it up. It's 9. So we still have some more to go.
Very, very good, because I think this show had really 2 rough first episodes, and I think the show has only gotten better. It came into its own, I think, finally, when it got past itself, where it's like, I'm better than Hulk and blah, 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 versus just, let's have a good time. Let's just enjoy some episodes that are one-offs. We're having a good time with the subject matter. I mean, we had the Abomination episode, which was fun. Then we had the weird, the fake magician episode, which brought us in our favorite new MCU character in the world,
Madison. Oh,
where the Y you wouldn't guess where it is.
Oh,
and Wongers.
My goodness.
Yes.
And Wongers.
Yes.
I love
yes.
it.
And then we have and we're bringing it back to like legal episodes. So it's like a standalone sitcom resolution, and it is perfect for what it is. Although, and so I think there's something fun for everybody. And I think it just stopped taking itself too seriously and just decided to just have a good time, and I would say, I don't think we got a stinger in the last one, because I looked through and I couldn't find one, but we did get some nice little Easter egg at the end of this episode, which is all about the most recent one, which is all about, She-Hulk getting some new clothes. So the Emperor's new clothes finally will address the ill-fitting suit. And we saw Matt Murdock's new costume, which is going to be yellow, like the old Heritage.
I was going to say, like the old Heritage Wonderful Song by Coldplay.
Devil with the yellow dress. Devil with the blue dress.
Blue. Well, blue and yellow would be green, right? I don't know. I don't know my colors that well. I'm colorblind.
It doesn't matter. So it looks like we're going to get Jen in her purple and white togs as her kind of her action gear, I assume, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And there's an action figure to support it, so naturally that means nothing. Yeah, the latest Build-A-Figure line, I was skimming through my Marvel Legends recently. There is another MCU one coming out that is Moon Knight. It's either Build Khonshu or one of them is Build. I just watched What If again because I'm doing an MCU Disney Plus watch through, and I said, and the Infinity Ultron, the one where Vision becomes Ultron and he has the Infinity Stones, that was pretty sweet. Nice. So I would spring for that figure. So cool.
So, and Charlie, in your rewatch, are you going to watch Cloak and Dagger and all of those shows?
I am strictly sticking with Disney Plus MCU stuff.
So not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agent Carter, the series?
Nope. No, just
or
finished.
Inhumans?
No. Inhumans was a one and done, set it on fire. No, we just finished WandaVision. We're about to start Falcon Winter Soldier, which is one that I like very much. And then I got it all mapped out. So I'm gonna knock out all those shows.
Good for you, my friend.
Chronologically.
Yes. Well, lastly, talking about a book that I don't know a lot of people know about, but it's really, really awesome. It's just a standalone series, as far as I know. Came out in 2020, called Adventure Man. The creator is Matt Fraction, and the writer, who's done a lot of great books. This is by Image Comics, and Terry Dodson, who is one of my favorite pencilers in the world. His art's beautiful. It just looks like a pinup. He does like pinup models. He created the bombshells for DC, Charlie. So remember when they have like their 40s gear and look really
anybody who has female cosplay friends who love DC, I've seen a lot of those bombshell. I've seen a lot of bombshell Wonder Woman. Our friend Kelly recently debuted a bombshell Hawk Girl. So yeah, bombshells are big.
Yeah, so his art is phenomenal, and it looks just like that on every page. He does not disappoint. His artwork's beautiful. And Adventure Man is essentially one of those books inside a book. So essentially, the first issue is almost all about you're introduced a team with Adventure Man, who's kind of like a Superman character, and he's called up by the commissioner, and he's got the city's getting attacked by zeppelins from the sky, and he has to call up the Adventure Man phone.
That's like Sky. Remember Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
There you go. That's what
I like this.
Like.
And then it does a phenomenal thing, which is essentially introduce all of these fantastic characters that are parts of Adventure Man Inc. And it's got all of the characters. I mean, and this is a hardcover that I have, so I've only read the first 2 chapters. And when they introduce all of the characters, it's phenomenal. They're like all of these tropes you've seen before. They are. They have the craziest names. I'll just read some of them off to you. I've got the book in front of me. They have Jim Royale, the gentleman. He's like almost like a Mandrake the magician. Chagall, super pharmacologist, science witch. Akal, the timeless one. Phaedra Phantom, ghostly saint of burlesque. Sally Sweet, ace avatrix. Lonnie Langlaw, brawler of the Bowery. I mean, these characters are awesome. And then they introduce the villains, which are just this group of like Hellcat Maggie, Meta Mage, Baroness Bazaar, the Autumn of Terror, Slugger Dunphy. I mean, they're just great. And the artwork's beautiful. But once you get through the first, you find out like towards the end of the book or the first issue, it's actually it's just a mom and her son reading a book together. And these are characters in a book, and it ends. And you're like, okay, the mom runs a bookshop, and she has a big family and everything, and she's dealing with hearing loss. She wears things, but then you find that there's a link to this book, and it kind of leads you into this. This isn't just a fake hero series. This is tied to a real group, and this mom gets drawn into the intrigue, and we find it's a little bit more real than fiction. Really cool. I'm on chapter 2. I'm almost on chapter. I'm done with chapter 2. There's more. It's beautiful. It's well worth it. We got it from Half Price Books. It's $25 hardcover. I don't know if you can see it. Probably can't very well.
Half Price Books. I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, that's a chain that's around. Yeah, that's a chain that's around.
Yeah, you can actually take your stuff in and sell it to make some cash if you want. But I always find cool stuff there. It's very fun. Nice. So I highly recommend it. It's an image book, and it's like I said, 2020. It might be on Comixology if you're inclined to look.
I did, as you know, I picked up that Alex Ross hardcover at what I think is one of the cooler comic shops I've ever been in Plymouth, Michigan. It's called State of Comics. And cool. Todd, if you're ever back, I know that when you come to Michigan, you don't get quite that far south in Oakland County, but it's almost worth the trip. It's a pretty cool shop.
Very, very cool. Yeah, it's great to see some of these shops that you never knew existed appear, and they're like, those are actually pretty cool. It's not like the Android's basement. It smells like cat urine on a bunch of old cardboard.
Yippee. I love it. Oh, man. Well, that wraps us up for the Geek Easy. Now it's time for Air Qantas and the Land Down Under. That's right. The mutants are awaiting. It's time to go to the Thunderdome and play a game for their amusement. Let's do it.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Thank you, Tina. We're sitting in the Thunderdome where the mutants have been gathered. Let me try that one more time. Thank you, Tina. The mutants have been gathered for a topic or a game to be entertained. And this week, we're doing a game we haven't done in a while, and that is the Imdb Plot Keyword Challenge. This is a fun game. If you go to IMDb and look at plot keywords, you can see all of the plot keywords that essentially are written down for movies or TV shows that you love. Some are very vague, some are very specific. And our goal is to read off the plot keywords, and we'll see if each of us can guess it based on the descriptions of these plot keywords. We try to get a little vague rather than get specific because we don't want to give it away. So, Charlie, before we start, I think we just go until someone gets it. I think that's the fun time. I don't think we have to put a number of questions because this goes fast and furious.
Well, yeah,
it's not long.
You're just saying, like mine, for example, and I didn't copy them all, says 174 plot keywords. I didn't copy half of them.
Mine is 105. Yeah, so there we go. So Charlie, would you like to guess or
I will
give?
Do the opposite of guess. I will give, and you will guess.
Okay. Right, I will guess well, I assume. I always lose, so.
Whenever we've had these where we both won and we both lost, but it never really seems to equalize.
But we all win.
Here we go. Keeping in mind it is a science fiction film from the 1990s. Okay.
Right.
Spaceship. Astronaut. Black hole. Hell. Female astronaut. Sucked out of an airlock. Ship's log. Magnetic boots. Almost could be Star Trek First Contact, but it's not. Eyes removed. Dead woman
I know
in the
this
bed.
one. I'm trying to
Dead
remember
woman in the
Event
bathtub.
Horizon.
You got it. Nice.
Yes.
Good work. Good work.
She said hell in space. I don't know how many other like
Right, it was a-
horrific.
Well,
Yeah.
when I said the dead woman in the bathtub, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a dick.
Well, eyes too. It's like, ooh,
Right.
Sam Neill, creepy Neill.
You got to see the dead woman's topless as well, which is sexually confusing. There's no doubt about it.
Oh my goodness, this might be a fast one. We have to do a couple of rounds because that was a quick one.
Okay.
But we'll see how Charlie takes us in this one.
I know.
So Charlie, when you are ready, ready.
No pressure. Okay. All right, go for it.
Oh boy, a lot of these are just a dead giveaway. Universal
Good.
Translator. Rebellion. Good versus evil.
Good versus easel. It's an art movie.
Yes, it's a painting film. Yes, it's painting. Time Bomb. Shared Universe. Gun. Tastes like chicken joke. That's a new one. Alien possessing human. Space opera sci-fi.
Okay.
Alien planet.
Okay.
Space western. First of series. This is a weird one. English subtitles and original. These plot keywords are great.
That's really helpful.
Exploration. Commanding officer. Invented language.
Is this
Sandstorm?
Galaxy Quest?
Morphing.
It's not Galaxy Quest.
Title spoken by character.
Am I muted? I just said, is it Galaxy Quest?
I'm continuing to go because it's not.
Oh, well, then why didn't you say no?
If it was right, I would have stopped going.
Well, I didn't know that that's how this worked.
Empire. Let's see. Reluctant hero. Punched in the face.
That happens in all kinds of movies.
Special forces. Alien planet.
Well, it's not Aliens because that was in the
Female
90s.
soldier. Exoplanet. Villain.
Okay.
Language barrier. Androgyny.
Stargate?
Slavery.
Stargate!
Ah, yes, you got it.
There
What
we go.
got you there, Charlie? Androgyny?
Androgyny was a good one, but it was the couple beforehand. Now I can't quite remember.
Well, the hard part was like most of these were like Portal, Egypt. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Give me or Air Force, you know what I mean, or something obvious.
Exactly. Yeah. So round 2 of IMDb plot keywords. Charlie, it's all yours. So give it your best, my friend.
Woo! 1990s science fiction film. Here we go. Shot in the back. Slow motion scene. Biopunk. What? Medical doctor. Blast furnace. Postmortem. Ventilation shaft. Corrupting influence of capitalism. Wow, that's deep. Severed head. Who doesn't like that one? Spiral staircase. Sprinkler system. Blockbuster. Rubbish dump. Slow motion shot. Come on. Postmodern. Furry. What? There's furries in it? Awesome. Shot in the back. Oh, I
You did that one already. Yeah.
My bad. Male chief medical officer. Bald man. Todd, it's about you. Directorial debut. Oh, I didn't know that. Horror icon.
Oh.
Year 2179. That's a deep cut. Bravery. Hypodermic needle. Cryonics. Pregnancy.
This isn't Demolition Man.
Nope.
Okay.
Dual role.
Dual
IQ,
role.
as in intelligence, I'm assuming.
Quotient.
Crash. Sacrifice. Spaceship. Violence. Metaphor. Monster. Religion. Gothic. Black comedy. I don't know if I'm going to agree with that. Orchestral music score. Well, that's pretty generic. It's a sequel. Oh God!
Sequel.
They give a character's name as one of the keywords.
Oh my goodness. Might as well say it.
Well, it gets really difficult from here. It's like cult film, android, gore, dark comedy, black comedy. Mission, goth. I didn't remember too many goths in this film. Suspended animation, attempted rape. Ooh. Future, which you already know.
It's not like an Alien 3, is it?
That is what it is. Nice.
I'm like, how did I even know that?
Well, I
guess everybody was bald in that movie, weren't they? Because they were coming out of suspended animation.
Bald, and because she was a woman, they tried to rape her because
shot in the back.
Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't seen the movie. I
remember seeing. It's so funny, Charlie. That movie. I saw that it was like Memorial Day weekend. School was just about to get out.
93. Yeah, 93.
You've been just out of high school, and I was just starting. Was it starting my senior year? No,
you would have been graduated. No. If you said it was 93.
I would just graduate. Yeah, I just graduated. Weird. Okay. Yeah, so that was Alien 3 came out that late.
Well, hold on. Let's look up the release date because I don't know for a fact when it came out. I know it came out. It came out in 92. So you're right.
That's right. Yeah, because I think it came out like May 92, right?
Let me verify the date of scrolling. May 22 of 92. You got it, bud.
That's right. Because I remember I went to see it with a friend of mine who became a enemy of mine. Long story short, we'll talk about it. A certain person, I will talk to you about this after the show because I don't want to bring it out. On
the B-roll.
I think you're aware of him.
Okay.
I might have mentioned him. He also went to Michigan State.
No, I see.
Yes.
Very interesting. We'll talk about that. Yes. All right. Well, let's take this home with yours.
That's in the bonus round. That's bonus Patreon content, there, folks.
Oh my! Yeah, we're all setting it up. I know we're letting
the enemy podcast, the nemesis podcast.
Yeah,
the airing of grievances.
Yeah, the people we won't let back on the podcast.
Ooh.
Ooh. I know my enemies list gets longer all the time. It's mostly
Charlie,
other
the only one that I know has a list.
Oh boy! Well,
it's been documented for all to see.
When you've pissed off as many people as I have, you make it a career.
It's true. They come back. Sometimes they come back. Oh well. Yeah, I win. Awesome. Let's see if Charlie wins this round. Round 2 continues with my selection. So Charlie, let me know when you're ready.
All right, let's party.
All right. Ooh. A lot of these, wow, almost all of these are really related to the title. One word title.
Alien 3.
Sexploitation film. Nightmare. Toilet. Man in shower. Driving a car. Skinny dipping. Out of fuel. Regenerating body. Underwater scene. Seductive woman.
Alien. Is this Species?
Oh my God. Charlie, the first like 20 are all like sexy woman,
right.
Erect nipple, sexiness. It's like all breasts. Like, yes, Natasha Henstridge.
Yeah, I know, and trust me, she had the goods. Without a doubt. So, this was fun. This was good. So everybody walks away a winner. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, we have to go a little deeper next time because man, these were. I mean, mine took a little time. Alien 3 took a little time just because it's like okay. Because I was thinking it was something else and it's a sequel. I'm like, it has to be something that like actually. Because I was thinking like, is there a Bruce Willis thing? Because bald people, I don't know. Was he bald back in the 90s? Maybe not. I don't know. Bruce probably was wearing a wig still back then.
Could be. Why not? Yes, a bald wig for his bald head. Crazy stuff. Yeah, well, this is a short episode for us. And, like my dad always says with golf, always end on a good one. So let's not do a round 3 and blow it. But Todd, tell people where they can find you out there on the webs.
Yeah, follow me at T Oxtra. We're just having a good time sharing things, talking to people, and sometimes being sad about either college football or fantasy football because, man, the Spartans laid an egg this weekend and my fantasy team laid an egg. So, you know what, though?
It's why I don't get involved. But you know what? If it brings you joy at some level, but it doesn't really sound like it does. Sorry.
It does, because I love football. It's one of my passions, and you know what? That's what's great about it. It's not scripted. It happens, and that's why it's exciting because you never know what will happen, and it's always a wild ride, and I need to be rewarded eventually, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Charlie, and then you're doing all the fun things at the C3, right?
I do the best I can to keep it real. You can find me over on Twitter at the C3. That is me across pretty much all social media platforms. My wife, April, and I also run the USS Grand Petoskey. That is the West Michigan chapter of the Star Trek International Fan Club. You can find us at a website of that name and across all socials as such. I also try to fill up the exploits of news over on the Secret Friends Unite Facebook groups. So have been a little more active with my own cosplay. Recently, I'm getting back into it. Just did a great shoot as Captain America in Chicagoland yesterday. I've got a great shoot coming up with my crew for Star Trek in South Haven, Michigan this weekend. Look for Code 47 Podcast on all social medias to see those photos of me continuing to work out and trying to get in shape. But it's fun times. So yeah, friends, as always, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In a truck.
Bring it on. It's already been brung.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.